to you. Good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. Won't you share with a friend or two? Good morning, good morning to you. You. Good morning, good morning to you. And many more, and many more, and many more. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome, welcome, welcome to Daring Dialogues. I am your host today, Shantae Charles, and I hope that you have been having a great and wonderful day. It is Thinking Thursday, and it is episode 49. We are nearing our last episode of the season, which is going to be on Friday. And I want to again thank you all for those of you all who have joined in with us this season, those of us, you all who have been in participation, who have been in conversation with us as we have spent this season making a shift over to the YouTube platform. We were on Instagram. And you can find our previous broadcasts over there under at Daring Dialogues. They're still up and still available for watch. And we also have playlists here on the YouTube channel. So if you're interested in going back in time to our previous seasons and looking at our reading and our discussions, you can look up any of our playlists there. It'll say Daring Dialogues and the season. We have several seasons here as well archived on our playlist. This season, again, is closing out Friday. However, in the month of June, we are going to be offering two sets of workshops. One is going to be a 1 day, 1 hour workshop for writing. So if you're interested in improving your writing, if you're interested in finding out about independent publishing and just some things to be aware of, some tips that will save you some money if you're getting ready to do some independent publishing, you want to be a part of that. It's going to be open to 100 people. There'll be 2 different sessions. And so a max of 200 people we are going to be helping. All right. That link will be posted at the bottom of this broadcast. It is already posted on yesterday's broadcast. And so if you want to go back one video to yesterday, you can look in the comment section or also in the description, click on the registration form and register. The registration for that is going to close June 2nd because the course is going to take place on June 7th. All right. So we do need time to count the people that will be in the session so we can properly prepare for everyone that is there. Also, we're going to be doing a 5 day, 1 hour a day sessions on overcoming anxiety and de-stressing. This is a part of what I do professionally. And so I am giving back by offering a week of those sessions. The registration for that is coming soon. It will also take place in June. I will post the announcement here along with the sign up form for that. Again, it's going to be limited to 100 people. We'll be doing 1 hour a day for 5 days straight. All right. So that is, I think, all of my announcements. Let's get into our brief devotional today. Brief devotional today. This one is entitled Open for Business, and this is coming from Dennis Kimbro's book, Think and Grow Rich. I've actually made it all the way back around to the whole year. So I've actually finished reading this devotional. I might give this to somebody. I don't know. It's got lots of my personal notes in it. So I don't know. I might keep it or buy somebody else a new copy, but it's been really good. Open for business. The haves and have nots can often be traced to the dids and didn't do's. William Raspberry, syndicated columnist. In the final analysis, each of us is in business for ourselves. That is, each of us is the president of his or her own corporation, also known as life. As you assume this office, you alone are responsible for your firm's success or failures. A parable illustrates this notion well. A businessman on a crowded city street dropped $1 into the cup of a man selling pencils and hurriedly stepped aboard a train bound for his office. However, on second thought, he backed off the train, walked over to the beggar, and took several pencils from the cup. Apologetically, he explained that in his haste, he had neglected to pick up his pencils and hoped the man wouldn't be upset. After all, he said, you're a businessman just like myself. You have merchandise to sell, and it's fairly priced. Then he caught the next train. At a civic function a few months later, a neatly dressed salesman stepped up to the same businessman and introduced himself. You probably don't remember me, and I don't know your name, but I'll never forget you. You are the man who gave me back my self-respect. I was selling pencils until you came along and told me I was a businessman, that I was responsible for my future. And for that, I thank you. A wise man once said, many people have gone further than they thought they could because someone else thought they could. The most you can do for anyone is to reveal their own wealth to them. Selah, Selah. Everything that I do prospers. I'm in business to stay in business. I think I might need to make me a nice little quote card because I like that. The most you can do for anyone is to reveal their own wealth to them. Ooh-wee. And what happens when you get around a bunch of people or a group of people that starts revealing your own wealth to you? Depends on what you do with it. Sometimes you try to tell people or show people or help people to understand what their own wealth is, and they get upset. Some people don't appreciate you exposing what is good about them or what they could be doing better. Some people take it and they say, how dare you tell me anything different than what I'm doing right now? I like what I'm doing right now. I don't want to move. I don't want to grow. I don't want to be better. I like what I'm doing. Other people will take that information and they will move and they will progress in their life. So I like it because thankfully I've run across the latter rather than the former. We're reading from today, as our Thinking Thursday, we're reading from Failures of Forgiveness, What We Get Wrong, and How to Do Better by Dr. Maisha Cherry. If you notice, we like to read lots of non-fiction over here by doctors, you know, people who have researched and studied in their field. That's what we like to read over here. Evidence-based reading. We might get to some fiction books next season, but for the most part, we like nonfiction. We have been in chapter 9 of her work, which we're going to finish today. We're going to finish it today. And we're not going to go on to the next chapter because we're going to save that for season 16. It is her last chapter in the book entitled Radical Repair, With or Without Forgiveness. However, we are in Forgiving Yourself, and we're looking at the last section of chapter 9, which is entitled The Curious Case of Regret. The Curious Case of Regret. There is a misconception about forgiveness that is hidden in popular metaphors and cliches. Consider the cliches, forgive and forget, and wipe the slate clean. Though these phrases convey two different ideas, they are similar in that when we express them, we are assuming that once forgiveness has taken place, newness awaits us. The past no longer negatively impacts the future. You can forgive and have no memory of wrongdoing. You can wipe the slate clean and leave no dirty residue behind. Of course, this is false. If anything is a fantasy, it is the idea that nothing painful is left over after forgiveness. Self forgiveness can make way for relief, release, and reconciliation. It can also leave residue. The philosopher Claudia Card refers to this residue as moral remainders. Just as hard work doesn't always give us neat results, moral remainders can persist after we've made the hard commitment to forgive ourselves, revealing that reparative action can still leave breaks and cracks behind. Moral remainders are emotions and attitudes that stay with us after forgiveness has occurred. Regret and remorse are common examples. Out of the two, Card notes, forgiveness relieves neither. Regret and remorse remain even after we've done all we can do to set things right. Self forgiveness doesn't mean the absence of regret. Man, that's another good zinger. Regret is sorrow over a fault, offense, mistake, or loss, ranging in intensity from mild to deep. You can feel regret even when you are not responsible for what happened, as when you regret that you were not around when a terrible event occurred, believing that you could have prevented it if you had been there. This is part of the regret I have concerning my mother, the author writes. I wish I had been there the day she fell ill at home alone. But when in contrast, you are responsible for wrongdoing and the regret becomes intense, you experience remorse. Remorse is a deeper form of regret. According to Card, it's an intense, often lasting moral regret regarding one's own conduct. When we experience remorse, we profoundly wish we had not done a wrongful deed, not because of the stain on our own character, but because of how it wronged other people. I feel this deeper form of regret for not having been a best daughter, for not having given my mother the attention she deserved. I wish I had acted differently, the author writes, that I had been more responsible. I'm aware that she felt my neglect. The painful knowledge of it is heartbreaking. These feelings can creep up at any moment. The philosopher Catherine Norlock refers to the recollection that accompany both remorse and regret as intrusive memories. Mine are invasive indeed. Out of nowhere, while I'm reading a book, playing video games, listening to music, remorse and regret can gnaw at me. But I have forgiven myself. Why do I still have these feelings? What is the purpose of all this pain? Moral regret, as distinguished from the regret we feel for not going to something like a concert, signals our values. It advertises what we stand for. More specifically, it reveals that we acknowledge our wrongdoings and shortcomings. It shows that we recognize, as Card puts it, that all has not been made right, or that not all is as it should be or would be ideally between us. I understand now why I've always been suspicious of people who live by the motto, no regrets. If the purpose of regret is to signal that we acknowledge wrongdoing, then a person who never experiences regret may have never taken responsibility for their actions. Perhaps it's because they believe they've never committed wrongdoing. The no regrets proclaimer might go an extra step. In a belief that good things always come from bad, the no regrets person might feel no need to wish that events had gone any other way. Maybe whatever happened was for the best. The greater good hypothesis can relieve them of the painful feeling of regret. Of course, morally, this is awful logic to live by. I understand the psychological appeal, though. Declaring no regrets can make us feel that we are properly managing our emotional lives. Who wants to feel awful or pestered by events of the past? It's better to show psychic resilience. It can also make us feel that we have some type of control. After we've acted out of control via wrongdoing, regaining power over our minds is a first step, or that is the thought. Control is good to have, all things considered. but having good values and signaling them is better. Regret and remorse can be agonizing. Their purpose is not to make us suffer. The purpose of remorse is not self punishment, even if that is an effect. Rather, the point is to not let us forget or lose the appreciation of what we did. Contrary to self alienation, which keeps us in the past, regret reminds us of the past so that we might learn from it, respond to it, and be a better person as the result. As the author Daniel K. Pink puts it, regret reveals a need and yields a lesson. With moral regrets, the need is goodness. The lesson is this: when in doubt, do the right thing. The challenge is finding a way to live with the pain, to accept the intrusive memories when they seem uncomfortable. This is not easy, but it's much more difficult without self forgiveness. A fictional illustration of this concept appears in the 2008 film 7 Pounds. Now, I didn't watch that film, but I know a lot of people watched it and thought it was pretty intense. It goes like this. The aeronautical engineer Tim Thomas cannot forgive himself for having caused a terrible car crash because he was texting while driving. His wife and 6 others died as a result. The accident leads Tim to atone for his actions by donating his organs to 7 morally good people, eventually unaliving himself in order to make the last donation. Yikes. Film critic Omar Mozaffar describes the movie as depicting the caustic cruelty of remorse. Mozaffar is correct in his description of remorse when he writes, "You see a tree or smell a scent or hear a voice and you are triggered. Your memory carries you momentarily into the past. Remorse is one of those feelings that keeps coming back to strangle us with the past." And I agree with him in part when he likens remorse to a vicious debt collector that knocks on the door to my heart with its own erratic schedule. Yet, I disagree with his description of remorse as vicious and cruel. Remorse is vicious and cruel for Tim only because he has not forgiven himself. He has not let go of the self contempt, the self hatred, and resentment throughout the film. Tim's remorse is controlling him because he has not gotten any relief or release via forgiveness. He can't live with himself, and therefore he can't live with remorse. But it need not be this way. I cannot promise you that self forgiveness will make regret less painful, but I believe that it can help make it less destructive, allowing you to live with yourself and the past despite the pain. This is what repair is all about. And so, chapter 10, she is going to focus, the last chapter, she's going to focus in on radical repair. How do we repair ourselves? How do we repair our lives after we've forgiven ourselves? We'll read up on that in season 13. I encourage you to get this book. It was very eye-opening. The way that she talked about forgiveness, I think on an experiential level, I agree with her. And so it was really interesting to see someone put life experiences into a clinical, research-backed study. And so that was really interesting to see that some of my own personal life experiences, she was actually providing the, I guess, the documented framework for why I think the way I think about forgiveness. I would definitely say that this is not traditional thinking. This is not religious thinking about forgiveness. We're sort of taught one way, one singular way to think about forgiveness, especially if you come from a Christian background. But I like the way that she has broken it down and explained why forgiveness might not be the thing that resolves certain situations in our life, that some things are not about forgiveness per se, but the things that are We need to make sure that we're using and appropriating and applying forgiveness in ways that make sense, um, in ways that foster healing, in ways that don't further injure the victims of whatever has happened. And she does a really, really good job of doing that, explaining it, pointing it out. So if you ever wanted to dig into a topic, because this is a topic that you're going to hear people talk about for the rest of your life. Everybody's always talking about forgiveness, but she does a deep dive into the concept and the faulty parts of it, what we, like she said, what we get wrong and how to do better. So I recommend this book to especially spiritual leaders of all kinds. I recommend that you read this book, study, learn, and grow in your um, expository teaching and preaching on forgiveness. This is a good starting place. All right. So that being said, I'm going to open it up. Pastor Ben, I'm going to send you the invite. You might, let me see. Um, hmm, okay. It's not enabled. Okay. How can I do this? All right, I've got to forward it to you. This is going to be interesting. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. All right, I am forwarding it to you because for some reason it would not let me send it from one email to the next. I have forwarded it, and you may have to tap in and try to join twice before it'll let you in. And then I'll be waiting on your response. If you're just coming in while we are waiting for our co-conversationalist to join us, we will be having a writing workshop on how to improve your writing. And we're also going to be talking about self-publishing information. If you are interested in self-publishing, you want to know a little bit more about the world of self-publishing, you'll be able to click the registration link and join us for that. Registration is going to close June 2nd, and the workshop will be June 7th. There'll be 2 different sessions, so you're just going to select a session to join us in. Good morning. Can you hear us? I can, but you're frozen on screen. Yes, now you're unfrozen. Yay, we're figuring this out. Yay. One episode before the season ends, but it's okay. We got it now. We got it.
Um, hmm. I like her take on everything right in this well pretty much everything in this one because she's on point. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of times we don't forgive ourselves. We beat ourselves up over things, and everybody else has forgiven us. Everybody involved has forgiven us, but we can't let it go.
Mm-hmm.
So we beat ourselves. I only saw part of 7 Pounds. I didn't see the whole movie. I only saw part of it.
Okay.
And Yeah, he lost his some of his loved ones because of his wrongdoing, because he wasn't paying attention,
Mhm.
and he never let that go. He never
Mhm.
let that go. Uh, uh, um, Donating body parts, okay, but I'm not going to allow myself
Mhm.
to donate a body part. I'm not going to do that. Um, but then again, there's John Q, where he was ready to give up his life for his son. Now that's something different. That's something different. But that had nothing to do with him not forgiving himself or regret. That had to do with the system.
Mhm.
But but I what I saw of that movie, it was a pretty good movie. What I saw of it, but again, I can't see unaliving myself to to. I mean, basically, I'm going to take my life. It's another thing if my life is sacrificed while I'm trying to help somebody and trying to
Mhm.
help save people.
Yeah.
But to just say, well, listen, I'm just going to get up out of this here and y'all use my body parts to save this person. I can't see that. I can't. I can't. No. Not and it's not for a total stranger. I can't. Um and but that's that's on that part.
Yeah,
But
I call that a moral dilemma, you know.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And I noticed I want to say he's done another movie or something like that, maybe where that's kind of the result or the end. I could be wrong, but I think he might have played in another one similar to that.
He might have. He might have. But but yeah, but forgiveness, I want to go back a little bit. You
Mhm.
know, knowing number one, knowing who you are, knowing your worth. Those are things that we need to get concerning ourselves and stand on that. Because when you know your worth and you don't settle for anything less, it builds you, and it also builds your incorporation, which is you. Um, even if it's a even if it is a business, also helps build that. Am I saying don't give anybody a break? No, I'm not saying that, because sometimes uh, it takes a break in order to get what's beyond that break. For instance,
Mhm.
the work I'm doing now. This was a new client. I gave them some breaks, and now I can basically charge what I want to do everything else. See, so they had a little finance struggle. I said, well, okay, I got this. And so we went on ahead and worked it out. I probably broke even on that one, but I'm making on everything else. So, sometimes you do that. Sometimes in business you do that. But I'm going to say this because this is happening a lot, and I see this a lot, especially in sports now, with people of color that are great. They're being
Mhm.
top
Mhm.
notch, but they don't. But people won't admit that, and they want to put them down. Like you're saying negative thing. See, this is the thing about an athlete, a real competitive athlete. When they know who they are and you talk down on them, all you do is fuel them. You're not going to hurt them. You're going to be embarrassed because they're going to prove them, as Shadur Sanders said. I'm not here to prove anybody wrong. I'm here to prove me right.
Mhm.
See, and when you look at it like that, listen, I got to prove what's in me. See, I got to prove this to myself, what's in me. So when you're looking at it like that, what people saying don't bother you,
Mhm.
which was a knock on him. He didn't let what other people say bother him, which is what I thought you wanted in an athlete because it doesn't distract them. See, there's so much double standards going on.
Mhm.
Uh, What you should want in a person, if it's somebody of his caliber, oh, you don't want that. Okay, but you want that from everybody else, but you don't want that from him. It's a problem. You make everything a problem when there's somebody that you don't like. They don't like his dad. That's the bottom line. We're
Mhm.
going to find a problem. Angel Reese, oh, she can't play. She's sorry and all this stuff, but yet she's the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 500 points and 500 rebounds. Make that make sense. See,
Mhm.
so we have to tune out what others are saying. We have to know ourselves, know what we're capable of. See, and work on that, operate in that. I have people that told me they spoke negative about things I did because they got ticked off at me. Okay, that's fine, but I know who I am. I know what
Mhm.
I'm capable of. So you haven't said a word. You just wasted your breath. It gave me more fuel. That's exactly what you did. So, uh, you know, uh, now, do we forgive those that come at us like that? Of course, because number one, they don't know what they're talking about. That's number one. They're just talking out of their heads, giving their opinions,
Mhm.
and we have to let them know that your opinion is just that, only an opinion.
Mhm.
See, your opinion is only an opinion. See, I deal in facts. But so we're our own CEO, as the guy said. We're our own
Mhm.
CEO of our lives. Take control of that. When you know your abilities and your capability, don't accept anything less from somebody telling you anything less than what you are and what you know you're capable of. Don't accept that. Step up in it and be about it. So yeah, I know we've risen and we've been knocked down, and we've risen and we've been knocked down. We built big towns and they got burned to the ground. We built more big towns, they got burned to the ground. Guess what? Sooner or
Mhm.
later they're going to give out a fuel or oxygen.
Mhm.
you know, I mean, keep building. Don't let it stop you. But here's the thing: don't broadcast your building.
Mhm.
Don't broadcast it, because then they got a chance to stop it before it's done. Build. Keep
Mhm.
it to yourself. Build. Keep it to yourself. Before you know it, you're on top, and they don't even know it. They don't even know it unless they come through and see all the wonderful work that's done. But when you start putting it on social media and you start broadcasting it, why do you have to do that? Doesn't make sense to me to do that. It's there. It exists. The right
Mhm.
people will find out about it. The right people will come. If you build it, they will come. God will send the right people. The
One
right
thing
people
I'm
will help it thrive.
one thing I'm learning about all of that in terms of building is number one, make sure you build something before you market it.
Hmm.
It's a lot of people that are marketing things they haven't even built. I can't tell you how many people I see marketing books with a
Oh yeah.
cover
Oh yeah.
and a title, and they haven't even started writing the book. They haven't started, hear me, they haven't started writing the book, but they put a cover out, they have a title, they're telling you it's going to be out summer of such and such. And when you get in the background of that and you ask them, where's the book? Oh, I haven't started writing it yet. I'm sorry, excuse me. And I love some of my
Hmm.
friends, but I learned my lesson about pre orders. I don't pre
Yeah.
order things anymore. Um, because I've been burned 3 times now with trying to support somebody by pre-ordering their product, and I never see the product and I don't get my money back either.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so I'm not a pre-order girly. You got to have the actual physical product ready in order for me to put my money behind it.
Hmm.
I love y'all, but some of y'all are not You're not, the business acumen isn't not there. So I need to make sure that I don't get upset and have to go into forgiveness mode with you, to stay out of regret
Yeah,
mode with you and remorse mode with you. I can't put money behind what's not there.
right.
That's, I mean, I can't. I can't do that. Now, if you ask me to donate towards your publishing process,
Hmm.
if you're saying I need funding to back my publishing process, that's different than saying I have a book ready for sale and I'm taking pre-orders. Those are
Hmm.
two different things. And so I want people to be honest, even in regards to their business. I want people to be honest about where they are. If if you've written it and it needs editing and you're nowhere near the publishing process, be honest about that. If you
Hmm.
haven't even gotten started writing, this is things some of the things we're going to talk about um, June 7th. If you haven't even gotten started writing, you should not be marketing anything. You're putting the cart before the horse.
Hmm.
And especially when you start putting dates out and timelines, what you're teaching people is you cannot be trusted. And so when your
Right.
work does come out, you're not going to have that encouragement and that boost behind it because you've essentially misrepresented yourself leading up to your product actually being out and being able to be released. And I tell people, even in the best of times with publishing and with the most amazing writer,
Hmm.
you need about 6 to 8 weeks to properly market your book. So be thinking about that. When my book is ready, physically in my hand, final draft, author's proof, I've looked over it, that still does not mean I need to sell it right away. I need 6 to 8 weeks lead time of marketing. So even projecting what your finished completion date is, add 6 to 8 weeks onto that, and that should be your release date because you should be building up to releasing your work.
Hmm.
You should be talking about your work. You should be, doing interviews about your work. You should be doing small snippets of reading about your work so that when it comes out, people are ready to receive it. Um,
Yes.
so those are some things I've learned in my 20 years of doing this. That if you want to have a successful launch, there's a method to that. There's a formula to that. And yeah, we'll be talking some more about that. Final thoughts.
Hmm.
Two thoughts that I want to reiterate. One from the devotional, when the writer says the most you can do for anyone is to reveal their own wealth to them. I thought that was very powerful. I'm definitely going to make me a nice little meme out of that. And then, yes, go ahead.
Part of our responsibility to reveal to the person what's in them, to reveal their strengths.
Hmm.
Um, but too many of us are about popularity and what we can get. So we don't reveal, well, because number one, a lot of times we miss it ourselves. We don't see it because we're too busy about, again, what we can do and what we can get and how many members we can get to follow us. Um, but that's what I found myself in the position where I am, uh, uh, revealing these things to people concerning themselves. Um, and I have people now that, whatever's going on, if they're going to call anybody about anything concerning anything, or it's very private and personal, I'm the one that's going to get that call. because there's trust there, because they understand I'm looking out for what's best for them. See,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pushing them forward, in their direction, helping to get them on track in a direction that may be best for them. So, and they understand that. Number two, what was the second one?
Self-forgiveness doesn't mean the absence of regret. And a
Oh
person
no,
who and a person who operates with no regrets may have never taken responsibility for their actions. I said, "Oh
now
my."
listen. Now we see that one in real time.
Yeah,
Yeah, we see that one in real time. The
I've
person that
seen it
says
first.
they never had anything to repent for.
Mm-hmm,
You've committed adultery. You racially profile people, and right now you're sending people to prison. And by the way, right now they're meeting them right at the courthouse when they're
mm-hmm,
going in for an
mm-hmm,
actual, to see the judge. Actually, going to see the judge concerning their status. They're
mm-hmm.
picking them right up from there now.
Yep.
But hey, they say he's doing a great job. I can't see it. but but
I have.
so but yes,
We have a
yeah, but
situation. We have a situation right now that because the person clearly thinks that they have not committed any wrongdoing, they are yet trying to do more fraud.
oh yeah, yeah. I'm praying.
And I'm like,
I'm
are you
praying.
serious? Are you serious? How long ago was this that this person reached out to you? Last week.
Listen,
And I said
this
I had to say, listen, I am done. I am beyond done. It's time to call the FBI and have them investigate this person
yeah,
because they're not stopping, and they are now endangering even more people.
they need to be removed from society.
Yes,
Yes,
and I hate to say it, but that's where we are. That's where
yeah,
we are.
yeah.
You haven't learned. There's no remorse. There's no regret, and you're continuing to try to find new people to defraud
Well, they
after
they
you've been
need to.
told to cease and desist.
Yeah, they need to remove him from society before somebody decides to remove him permanently.
Listen, you don't mess with people about their money. You don't mess with people about their family. You
Mm-mm,
don't mess with people about their health.
mm-mm.
You don't mess with people about
Nope.
their romantic life. Those are like four things you just don't mess with people about.
hmm
I don't know what kind of life skills course we need to put out here. Hard Knocks of Life 101. Don't mess
Yeah.
with people's money. Don't mess with their
hmm
family.
hmm
Don't mess with their health. Don't mess with their love life. Don't
hmm
mess with their uh, professional life, i.e., money.
hmm
Like, you want to get on somebody's bad side? Mess with those things.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be
Yeah.
wanting to. We're going to wrap up our conversation today. I thank you again for taking your time out to converse and have this dialogue with me. Um, Again, we have one more episode for this season, and then we'll be taking a station break. We do have two workshops we'll be doing in June. One you can sign up for on our previous day's broadcast. The link is there. We will drop the link here once this video processes. We'll also drop it down here in the comments. It is a writing workshop. So it's writing and independent publishing is what we'll be covering. It is only 1 hour, and it's going to save you a lot of money if you're interested in getting into publishing. So those are the people, that's who the audience is for. Feel free to sign up. It is absolutely free. There's no gimmicks, there's no gotcha, there's none of that. It's just I wanted to do it as a thank you to my audience. Also in June, we're going to have a 5-day intensive. It'll be 1 hour a day for 5 days. We'll be talking about overcoming anxiety and strategies for de stressing. All right. My audience, I polled them and asked them, hey, what is something you want us to cover? What do you feel like we need to cover now? And that was what they said. So that's the workshop that we're going to hold. And again, it is absolutely free. This has been another episode of Daring Dialogues, and I've been your host today, Shantae Charles. I want to thank you for your time and attention. Remember, light is the most daring opposition to darkness. So continue to go out and be what?
Light.
Light. And again, Pastor Ben, I want to thank you for always taking time to share and dialogue with us, even while you are in the midst of your own business. Thank you for taking the time out. I appreciate you. Take care, everyone. Be well. And most importantly, be light.